I this week managed to get through all of Mandalorian season 2 with Punch Mom, and we finished it off last night. And if anyone has been watching, I can say that there's been a lot of hype around this season, and after finishing it, I can say that, whoo boy, that is quality. That's a good
You
show.
getting ready for the new Fortnite season?
Not really. I'm a
Oh,
dodge that.
I assume that's why you binged through Mandalorian, is so you get ready for that new Fortnite.
No, I binged through Mandalorian so that I could actually say that, hey, so that I don't have to say, hey, I'm partway through it. Please don't talk about anything or spoil anything.
Ah, I see.
Because I don't want to bring up things that I'm in the middle of publicly, lest they get ruined. So I can say that, of course I'm not going to spoil anything, but Mandalorian Season 2 continues to be what's great about Mandalorian Season 1, in that it is a, self-contained story that is basically aware of its size, aware of its scope, and aware of the fact that simplicity works. It doesn't, a lot of the things I was afraid of with the return is that being aware of how much people love it and being aware of the fact that it's a big hit would make the powers that be want to try and gussy it up too much and basically push it. You know what I mean? Put a little bit too much fucking makeup on it, try fitting in a lot too many other things. And there are definitely things like that have been inserted into this season. There have been tie-ins and references to outside things that become more and more prevalent. But I'm not I did not hate the way those things were handled, and I was expecting
I saw people talking about oh man, they brought in this thing. Not nothing specific. Just this overwhelming feeling of I can't believe they brought that back, kind of thing. And
so let me
when
further
when that
sorry, go ahead.
finale dropped, it seemed there was a lot of people going yay, and some people going
Okay, so everyone seems to be freaking out over me saying the word self-contained and whatever, so allow me to refine what I'm trying to say here. The first season felt like it was a small scale story within this larger universe, and that it was about these characters doing their thing, and it wasn't necessarily about going forth to save the galaxy, right? So then in the second season, that feeling of scope and scale continues to be that small, but then they start implementing these other things from the franchise, as I was saying, and I was worried that this could go kind of any other thing that ends up getting too big for its britches almost, or representing too much. But I felt that it didn't happen this time, right? I felt like what was implemented was kind of done. It's not grandiose. Yes, exactly. It's not grandiose is a good way to put it. What I am worried about is that I feel the way I did after watching Daredevil season 1 on Netflix, where you're oh, that's cool. This is a small scale problem being handled in this way, and it's getting more attention, and with that attention comes the desire to expand it into a lot of things and make it almost become its own answer to the movies in a way.
Maybe it can be the new Star Wars.
So
because did they wow with that other shit.
Daredevil season 2 drops, and then Luke Cage, and then Jessica Jones, and then Iron Fist, and then Defenders, and before you know it, you've got a big old Netflix universe of seasons nobody watched. Don't forget about Punisher. Some of them were okay, others were not. And the whole
there was such a specific point where everyone just stopped watching them. It was really funny.
And then and so then all of these like spin-offs kind of come and drop, and it ends up being like, oh, you've oversaturated this one thing that was pretty solid, and now some of them are solid, some of them are not, and it's just a mishmash of quality. Maybe this season of that show is good, but yeah. So you get it. This
first season of Punisher's pretty good.
So that's the worry about like what could happen, right? In Mando, but at the moment I can say that like I liked the second season a lot, and I feel like there's the potential to still go down that too thin route exists, but so far I like what they did with that second season a lot. I really like the characters. I really like the fact that they took the time to, obviously there's references to lots of things from the past in there. There's lots of little moments. I have a
silly question to ask, but it's just kind of, it's just background. When does this show take place?
Between 6 and 7.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So you end up getting a pretty tight time frame as well for this season, because there's moments in the first season where they kind of solve the problem or do whatever they do and then fly off, and then you can go, some time passes and then this occurs. But here it feels like almost like each episode kind of starts on the heels of exactly where the last one left off. So
I'm always a big fan of like the 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Like if you were to watch it all in one row, it'd be like, this is a continuous event.
Exactly. This has a very clear case of 10 minutes later the next episode started. It does some really fun things that you kind of want to see expanded upon. I'm going to talk around in circles, but it's like it does some things where you're like, it is nice to see what people are like when there's no Jedi around, and what's going on over here in this little fucking area, and how people are talking about, just like touching on some of those political things that KOTOR was good at. It's nice to see like these little things come up and not get ignored. They don't spend time dwelling on each of the things that we like, but they do give a nod to a lot of them. Like they give a nod to the idea that no one gives a fuck about what these stupid space wizards are doing and why they're fighting with each other. We're just trying to live, you assholes.
I love that these stupid space wizards keep ruining it for everybody.
They give nod to that. They give nod to, you know what I mean? They touch on a couple of these little things very briefly, and you just go, oh yeah, there's that little sentiment. So anyway, it's not this thing to say that like it's completely absent of like all of that Star Wars trademark content, because it's far from. It's definitely not. Star Wars trademark does exist and does get inserted and is a part of the story. I don't want to set this up so that you think that's not the case, because it definitely is. I would give like my pinky finger to reinstitute Kyle Katarn. What I am saying...
You want me to get all into Star Wars? Bring Kyle Katarn back from the fucking canon ghetto.
And it's hard to talk about Star Wars without just getting inundated with everyone's takes and all the one guys and everything. So, I don't want to fight anybody on this. If you think my take on this sucks, then that's okay. I don't intend to go any further with it, because it's Star Wars, and it's like talking about fucking Undertale, Fate, and um and Star Wars all at the same time. So
I
you
I
know,
have the most complicated relationship with Mandalorian as I have not watched it, and I was like really mad because I wanted to. I'm not going to name any names here. I wanted to watch it with a certain someone, and I was like, "You want to watch it?" And they were like, "No, not right now." And I'm like, "Not right now," or like, "You don't want to watch it?" And they're like, "Not right now." And that continued for the entirety of the first season.
okay.
Um, and then it continued through the beginning of the second season.
Did you see any of it?
None, zero.
It hooks you.
And then I was like, and then the second season ended, and I'm like, and then a different person listens to me lament this problem. And then they were like, well, do you want to watch it with me? And I was like, not right now. I'm like, fuck.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay.
Damn it.
Well, I'm sure through osmosis you've seen pictures of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And things
Apparently
like that.
they gave a name and everyone's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's Baby Yoda.
Essentially. That's basically what, And I mean, they can redirect all their products as aggressively as they want. People will not
try and be like, stop calling him Baby Yoda.
What they did was they launched a line of products because it was popping off, and all of their toys are all saying the child, and every time you search for Baby Yoda, it redirects you to the child, and it's aggressively trying to basically go, yes, we know what you're talking about, but please be aware it's the child.
The problem with Star Wars, like, all right, guys, I'm gonna tell you. Here's the problem with Star Wars. Is they're like, man, who's this cool character? And then you get the action figure, and it's Glorp Shitface. You're like, oh, cool. That was way better before I knew the character's name at all.
Well, what ends up taking place throughout this season is as they did insert the Star Wars TM.
I know. I hate that I know like the exact flavor that you're describing.
Oh yeah. It's there. It ended up not being as bad as I was worried, and in fact, I thought it more or less it worked for what they were trying to do. There's 2 points of contention. They're kind of shared. I have a point of contention. There's a bit of a moment where to talk around it, there's a bit of a moment where it's just like, well, I suppose the journey should end here, but
yeah.
How about
but it's popular?
But how about I like throw you MacGuffin Mountain to extend things a little bit. There's a little bit of that that goes like,
hey Goku, did you know that somebody even tougher than Piccolo?
There's a little bit of a like, just like it probably, anyway. But beyond that though, like I said, like everyone does a great job, and they ended off, and I was like, okay, cool, got it. Season 3 at some point, sure, let's take a look, let's see what they do. If they continue to insert more and more of the Star Wars TM, then this will surely not end well. And I think that I think that like the people involved can continue to like have a nice sense of control over it, and I think Jon Favreau's doing his best, but I do feel that like this is, if Disney sees that people love this more than anything else they've tried to do that was more expensive and higher budget and higher profile, then they're going to start looking at this as if this is the big thing now and try to treat it that way and make it into fully Star Wars trademark, which would then be going the Daredevil route and kind of making it, unfortunately, suck at that point.
I think Star Wars should be taught in classes about how the studio will ruin literally everything cool that you've ever made. Star Wars as a franchise is almost completely definitive in that, was it made by the big company? Then it sucks. Is it made by a bunch of smaller satellite companies?
Every time.
Then it's probably really good.
Every time.
It's astonishing.
Single time. The bloat is too large to fucking control. There's no delicate touch when you have big old fat bloated grubby hands, and every time you turn, you have to knock over everything around you to see what's on your left or on your right. It's too bloated to have that delicate touch. Your fingers are too fat to delicately type a nuanced script.
Like every single thing,
if you'd like a
made
dialing
by
wand,
Star Wars that wasn't like total trash, like, you know, the Episode 1 game for PS1 or whatever, you know, like things of notable value that was not a big pushed license thing, was great. Even a bunch of the stupid book shit that I would hear about in the context of your friend telling you about that stupid book shit, a lot of that seemed cool in its stupid book shit way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's this blue guy and he's actually really smart, and he's like, he's the villain, and he's literally just a smart person.
So some of what both seasons of this show does is stupid book shit.
Yeah.
And they kind of went like, let's put that on camera. Let's take some stupid book shit and let's put it on camera. And then you go like, oh yeah, it's that thing, except in a completely different context. Okay, you know, it ends up coming back more than a couple times. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the I heard a lot of people, you know, ended up liking, but like I don't know if between then and now if the consensus is the I don't know if I'm saying this and am I supposed to hate the season 2? I don't know what the world is opinion is supposed to be. I don't know what's supposed to be projected on me, but I'm saying that yeah, I think you know, if you check it out, you'll probably like it a lot more than other recent Star Wars media, and I, you know, for that alone, you should probably give it a shot, and then we'll see what ends up happening with the future. I continue to be worried about the you know, the big bloated eye that will catch note of what's happening behind it. In one of the fat rolls of its giant girth, this nice little garden bloomed, and hopefully they don't notice the garden for too long. But at the moment, check it out.
I don't think, man. You know what? You know what game? You know what piece of media's fault this is? Is KOTOR 2.
Fault what is?
This feeling of misery, looking at broader Star Wars, right? Where you're hoping for a Mandalorian as like a spinoff where the studio cannot ruin it.
I think I know what you're gonna say, and it's not just about the heights of what's possible. You need the low points too.
I agree, but there's like, this isn't even a specific moment, but like I remember playing through KOTOR 2 and getting to the point where Kreia stops you and goes, "What are you, fucking stupid? What are you, fucking dumbass? Using your wizard shit like that? Like, what do you think you're doing, idiot?" And I'm like, this is legitimately the most interesting thing that's ever happened in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is a
Free.
character just being like, "What are you fucking stupid?"
Free. Free, free, free.
And that game came out in 2005. 2005, I think. I want to say maybe 4. And just from then until maybe Mandalorian, I haven't seen it, but people are saying it's really good. Or maybe some offshoots in that Clone Wars stuff that people are saying is good. Just like from the big Star Wars shit, just like garbage.
You are not
Just like-
allowed you are not allowed to deconstruct the franchise while it's paying attention to you. You have to hide, you have to circle strafe it and find a way into its blind spot and then deconstruct while it's not looking. And then it's eventually going to auto tracking overhead you. But in the meantime, you keep out of its line of sight to do that. And as long as you can do that and people can run in and check out what you did, it's going to be fucking cool.
It blows my fucking mind. Like, I think about when I was sitting there in the theater for Last Jedi, and I can't remember the name of the last movie.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Like, all this fucking awful, vapid Force dialogue about fucking nothing.
It's about selling toys.
And I'm just
it's
like,
dialogue
oh my
about selling
God,
toys.
This has no value at all. This is just total trite.
Yeah. Well, you know, the big old like fucking epic fantasy is what needs to be the flagship at all times. So yeah, I think it. Well, I was just gonna say that like we'll see where things go, but there's no doubt that like they felt the like they're still they market because you have to, but they definitely felt the pain of like releasing things like Solo in between the episode years and realizing, oh God, like that watered it down and people fucking hated it and it lost a bunch of money, you know. Like
maybe it should have been watered down further.
They felt those things, you know. So we'll see what the response is from, you know, whatever remains under the gaze, if you would. But yeah, that all I gotta say is just, you know, this is one of the rare instances you have of like a, you know, depicted so this is one of the rare instances of like on-screen quality that you can go check out right now while the getting's good. That's not necessarily animated or that's live action anyway, you know. So in this rare instance, yeah, go see what's up while you can.
I feel like live action has a kind of curse associated with it, because live action is always more popular than animation in any format, and thus invites the bloated fingers faster.
It's seen as more important.
Like Clone Wars and all that stuff, they pretty much got to do their runs, right?
Yeah.
Like without the bloated finger.
And then Rebels even
arriving
had a like they made a basically they made a second show after that, right? So
and then Mando got through one season, and then like I don't like the way you're describing it is the bloated finger has not touched them yet, but it hovers.
Clone Wars has and I'm still working on it, but Clone Wars has a lot of like, oof, all right, no one needed to see that. There's a lot. There's Clone Wars is a mixed batch, and then I believe it steers towards consistency as you go later into it. It took them a long ass time because it's many years of the series going, many seasons to figure it all out. But yeah, whatever is live action is seen as peak importance for sure. All right, well, that's Mando 2.